have something in your life that you are going through and it's so challenging, or maybe you have a sickness in your body and you feel like God has forsaken you, you feel like it's too much on your mind. Maybe you've struggled with it, or else you have spent all the money that you had and the situation is not improving. In today's video, I want us to learn something from the story of a woman who had an issue of blood for 12 years. This is a story you would want to learn from. You are welcome to my YouTube channel, Asperia K. Ogaraga. My name is Asperia. Sit and let's enjoy this video. This is a story which is in the Bible and it's in the book of Mark, chapter 5, from verse 25. Now the story goes like this. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years and had suffered many things of many physicians and had spent all she had and was nothing bettered but rather grew worse. Now this woman had been having a menstruation, like something actually more than a menstruation. She had been bleeding every day for 12 years. And this woman was so isolated. She was lonely, she was sick, she was depressed, and she was tired. At this point, I believe she was even tired of herself. Because during the Bible times, when you look at the story in the book of Leviticus, chapter 15, you see that when a woman had an issue of blood, you were not supposed to be in a congregation of other people. You are not even supposed to touch any person's hand because you were considered unclean. You were not even supposed to go to worship God in the temple. You were not supposed to go there because you were unclean. And you would take 7 days, and then from there you have to cleanse yourself before you could meet other people. If you slept with a man during that time, that man would become unclean. If you shook hands with someone, that person would be unclean. And this is the situation that this lady had been into for 12 years. She was unclean. She was considered unclean. She would not go to any congregation of people. She would not go even to worship God. She would not give anyone anything, and they received it because she was unclean. As I'm talking right now, I believe you are drawing a picture of the pain, the agony that this woman had, that this woman went through. It was terrible. And the Bible says, when you look at Leviticus chapter 15, from verse 22, it starts from verse 19. Leviticus chapter 15 from verse 19, you can continue reading these verses. It says that, and if a woman had an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening. Everything she lies on, her bed, her clothes, everything was considered unclean. And so you can read the verses for yourself. You continue to understand about the issue of blood. So this woman had been through enough, because even the Bible says that she had suffered many things from the physicians. Maybe the physicians had told her, do not eat this, do not do this, do not do this. You know, like when you get sick and they forbid you from eating salt, they forbid you from taking sugar, eating rice. You know, this woman had suffered very many things from the physicians. And the Bible says she had spent all that she had. Think about you bleeding every day for 12 years. She could have been anemic because she was losing blood on a daily basis. But she was, she was tired. She spent all that she had. Maybe you are in that situation where you have spent everything that you have and you have no improvement. Maybe you look at yourself and feel like death is your best option. Here is a story for you. And the woman, after spending all that she had, the Bible says she was nothing bettered, but instead the situation grew worse. She became more sick each and every day. She spent money, she did all she could, but she became worse. Think about if you lose blood for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, five, a week. I don't think you will live. But God had spared this woman's life, even with her bleeding, for a great purpose. I'm sure if one of us is in that situation, no one will like it because it's so traumatizing. You become dirty. You feel like you are unworthy. You don't even want. And so when she heard about Jesus, that Jesus was passing by, the Bible says, when she had heard of Jesus, came in the place behind and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. Now remember, this is a woman that has been forbidden from being in a multitude of people. She would not associate with other people, but when she had heard about Jesus, that Jesus was in her city, she said within her heart that if I may touch his garment, just touching, I will be healed. That was tremendous faith. Faith that could move a mountain. And so she moved by faith. She could have feared the place. She could have feared the multitude. She could have feared all the people around her. But she didn't fear. She moved by faith and she went and touched the garment of Jesus Christ. And when she touched the garment, in verse 29, the Bible says, and straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up, and she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague. So immediately, the Bible says straight away, she touched Jesus. She immediately became healed. What a miracle. There are so many things that happen in your life, and you can't even imagine whether to cry or whether to smile or whether to be happy. This woman must have been the happiest woman on earth. And in verse 30, Jesus immediately, knowing himself that virtue had gone out of him, turned him about in the place and said, who touched my clothes? And the disciples said, you're looking at all this congregation and you're saying, who touched? Because Jesus felt something different. Sometimes you pray a prayer that touches the garment of Jesus Christ, that touches the heart of God, and God feels you need to be healed. You need to be, given what you're asking for. Because whatever you are asking for, you are asking it in faith. This woman did not fear the multitude. She was tired of her situation. She needed to be healed. She needed to be whole. She needed to be normal, just like any other person. Maybe you are going through the same today. It may not be the issue of blood, but maybe you have a big disease in your body. Maybe the doctors have told you can never be fine. Maybe you have that big date that no one can even settle for you. Maybe you have been in an spoken situation that you can't even open up to anyone. God is mindful of your situation. Move by faith. Pray. Talk to God. We cannot meet God right now physically like this woman, but our words can reach him by faith. He said that if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can tell a mountain to move and it shall move. And that mountain is not physical. It's your spiritual issue that you're going through. When you continue reading the story of this woman, you see that when Jesus knew that this woman had touched her, he told her these words in verse 33. The woman was fearing and trembling, knowing what was done in her. She came and fell before him and told him all the truth. And he said unto her, Daughter, thy faith has made thee whole. Go in peace and be whole of thy blood. Now, this woman had suffered all things, and she had gone through everything. And when she fell down at the feet of Jesus and she told him all the truth, Jesus confessed and told her that her faith had made her whole. Maybe you're going through that, as I mentioned. Please raise your faith. Tell God about your situation. He is mindful. He loves and cares for you. And I know He will do something in your situation. If you haven't yet subscribed, consider subscribing. Turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. Be blessed.